Part 2 Start Yu-Gi-Oh! A youthful man who failed from choking on water gets reincarnated as a tree. Despite being unfit to move around, he makes the stylish use of his situation using his chi capacities. He continues to make himself stronger. He also manages to constrain many monsters, using which he only gets indeed more important, nevertheless trouble still sniffs him out as he gets targeted by a giant shifted snake who takes the life of his mortal daughters. Yu vows to no way let such a situation be ever again, promising to enhance himself until no bone is a match for him. He soon again faces another problem. The special association and institute created to study spiritual power transferred its men to probe Yuji's home. Join him on his trip as he overcomes these obstacles and makes his way to getting a tree god. Also, more and more monsters keep appearing now, significantly overpowering the men. Yuji, claiming he'd given them a previous warning, formally also orders his faves to kill the men as the platoon faces a certain demise. Despite his peering injuries, gets back over to fight and resolves himself to get his battalion out of this situation thanks to his valiant trouble and frippery. Yangao manages to keep true to his word and escape the timber along with his colors. Nevertheless, this incident caused the battalion to lose 6 of its men as they tucked their tails between their legs, and Raw Yan Girl thinks to himself that the honey badger, having entered 2 pricing shots, will most presumably not survive their battle. Meanwhile, Yuji feels relieved after getting rid of the pests who ventured into his home, wishing they decide to not return for a while, claiming he wanted to kill every single bone of them. Where they stand, he decides against this in order to not attract further attention. In addition, he also claims that their disquisition will be put on hold because of this incident. Still, when they ultimately return, then again they will take their last breaths as similar. He also vows to himself to evolve to a point where no human will be a match for him. On the other hand, Zio King is still controlling Zio Ling's body, revealing to have left with the other platoon. Zio King asks Yuji if she'll have to live in this body from now on. He replies in an affirmative, pleased that this may prove to be a awful occasion to break into the mortal race and gather as important word as possible. As Zio Ling peregrination with the youthful men of the platoon, they get bewitched by her beauty and fall head over heels for her. Suddenly, as Zio King reaches her limit, Ling goes back to sleep, egging the men to name her Sleeping Beauty. Zio King in the meantime is completely exhausted after controlling Ling's body for over hours straight. To help her recover briskly, Yuji gives her some of his life essentialities, hoping it'll also increase her control time. As Zio King reluctantly partakes the resto, Yuji's injured pests also show up. Honey Banger looks to be on the verge of dying and is similar. Yuji claims that giving the badger his tire will only worsen his condition. Thus, using his roots and branches, he locates a water source and creates a small lake in front of him. Using this lake's water, he also adds his life substance to it. As such, the faves get to have a comforting break playing in the water while healing. In the process, as some time passes by after the whole timber fire, back at the Special Association Exploration Institution, Yang Ao gives the report to his superior. His superior, an old and long-bearded man, claims that Yan Jiao and his group encountered a tough foe. This time, the Angao claims that the change in the mountainside is certain, adding there is multitudinous important shifted beasts there. He also tells him about the presence of the thick fog bear, revealing that in his opinion the mist has the capability to affect the mortal mind and spirit. Nevertheless, there's still no explanation for this miracle yet, ordering Yan Jiao to put the timber in the unheroic warning area as the fog isn't veritably dangerous. He also tells him to keep an eye out for any abnormalities in the area. Also, if any do, he's to incontinently put the zone into the red hazard area. Yan Jiao accepts this task and heads to leave when his superior asks him about the girl he brought back. Zio Ling. Yan Jiao excitedly replies that Ling has a fire essential gift and reveals that she might be the strongest amongst her generation. Being out in the unheroic area, Yuji is considered lucky, as indeed, though the nation has surveillance over it, this area is still gratuitous. Back in the timber, Red Fox and Honey Badger are having a spar while the rest watch them fight. Still, Red Fox is stronger and ends up winning. Yuji is also feeling relieved after no one differently was transferred over, allowing it would be better if they no way returned. He gets approached by the Tempest Wolf Pack. They have brought live creatures for Yuji to kill so he can gain points. Glad to have regulated all these beasts, Yuji is overjoyed at the advantages they give him. As similar, while the monsters eat the dead creatures he checks out, he can upgrade, presently having elaboration points saved up. Yuji decides to strengthen half of his branches, indeed more. As he does so, he finds that in addition to getting stronger, he has also gained new capacities similar as palsy and stun. Unfit to stay, he decides to test out his new powers and hits the Honey Badger with the attack. Still, the Badger snappily gets back over again, calling this capability a fiddle and demanding his points back. He gets angry when King reveals that Honey Badgers are born with antitoxic parcels. Surprised at her appearance, he questions her why she's then. King reveals that it is extremely boring at the Special Association, as they do not allow her to do much of anything. Likewise, according to Yan Jiao, she has to pass a test in order to enter the Spiritual Power Research Institute. In addition, she claims that if she fails, she'll have to go back, leaving Yuji concerned. In order to motivate her, he decides to buy her with some life substance, and she gets fired up in a serious expression. King also allows to not fail, stating she will do whatever is necessary if someone is to get in her way. As the fated day of the test arrives, Yan Jiao accompanies Zio Link to her test area on their way. He also explains that the two reasons for the creation of the institution are to study spiritual power and cultivate super beings. As they reach the hall, a lot of other people are also present to take the test. Soon after, Yang Ao's superior, revealed to be the director of the special association, addresses the crowd. He announces that the world is changing drastically and is similar. In order to keep humankind alive, they will have to acclimatize and evolve as per the situation. If not, their kind will be in jeopardy, adding that this place was created solely for this reason. He pumps up the rookies, telling them to open up a new period, and so the testing eventually begins, with a power test being the first. As scholars check to your power position, the results feel to be kindly lacking in comparison with the first generation. Suddenly, one girl named Yan Lingling way forth as per her turn. As she tests her power position, she leaves the monitor shocked, revealing her position to be a high-class and intimidating position. Her capabilities and conterminous to her spectacular aesthetics snappily makes her the talk of the academy, as others praise her profusely. At last, it's eventually Xiao Ling's turn. As she heads towards the area, both Yan Jiao and the director watch her intensively as she starts with the test. Her strength incontinently becomes apparent, reaching a position of 5,000. Her strength is unlike anything has ever seen before. This makes indeed the director speechless, while the crowd goes ham. Still, this isn't the end, as the number continues to go higher, ultimately stopping at around. Lang also managed to destroy the testing machine in the process, leaving Lingling bewildered at what she just witnessed. Despite this, the examiner continues with the process. The alternate round is revealed to be the aptitude test. Also, the scholars are insulated into high and low classes and also transferred to the test point via doors. As Ling and Lingling are both high class, they now have to act as a platoon. Upon entering the portal, they find themselves faced with Yang Ao, who claims that the test is managing to lay indeed a single hand on him. By doing this, they will gain palm. Meanwhile, back in the timber, Yuji makes enjoys his tranquil time in nature. Still, he suddenly smells commodity stinky. Upon looking at his surroundings, he learns that Honey Badger has just pooped right coming to him. As he beats him up, Yan Jiao fluently defeats all the scholars as he mocks them for being weak. He claims that they will each be excluded if they keep up this disturbing trouble. Lang Ling and Xiao Ling, being the only two left standing, continue to face Yan Jiao despite being exhausted and fatigued, with only twinkles left remaining until the test ends. He tells them to work hard, only that might be suitable to keep them from being excluded. Lingling is formerly at her limit and is unfit to do much. On the other hand, Ling, after hail that she could be transferred home, refuses to be excluded and suddenly powers up immensely. Using her fire essential gift, she rushes into her smooth and confident adversary, surprised to see her using dares to speed up her attack. Yan Jiao wonders how important she can control her fire as he tries to mock her in order to rankle her. Lang again pets up significantly, managing to pull off advanced ways as similar. She again rushes into her foe, who slightly manages to avoid the rush of blows. Just as she eventually finds an opening, Lingling interferes with her attack. She kicks Ling in the face, transferring her flying. Lingling slightly in time manages to make contact with Yan Jiao and advances into the coming round. Yan Jiao, on the other hand, rushes to check up on Lane, who's bleeding heavily. Suddenly, Lingling starts to sport Ling, claiming she's no match for her and she should just return to the mountains where she came from. Link, flashing back her oath to not let anything intrude with her plan, decides to deal with the one who obtruded in her battle. As similar, she snappily rushes to Lentland, grabbing her by the face and mashing her head into the ground, unfit to respond or defend. Lingling receives heavy damage. She tells Ling to stop, claiming the examination is formerly over. She also asks if she wants to kill her, to which Ling replies yes, just as she hits Lingling with the important attack with violent bloodlust. Her attack gets stopped by Yan Jiao in the nick of time. He also calms Ling down, telling her that she has passed the test. Upon hearing this, Ling snappily turns back to normal, while Lingling is left paralyzed by fear and knocked unconscious on the ground. As Yang Jiao thinks he might have stunk off more than he can bite, the director is overjoyed at Ling's capacities and wants the academy to devote their time to duly cultivating her. Soon after passing, King, who's controlling Ling, ever tells her result to Yuji, making him pleased. Upon hearing the news, she reveals that in her academy she is now considered a genius who managed to reach the 8th class at a veritably youthful age. Likewise, Yuji reveals that the townies have all also moved towards the metropolises, deserting their hoes in the mountains for the future's sake. Time canvasses by, and now downtime has formally arrived. Despite the rainfall, he continues to evolve farther, evolving his thickets one at a time, as he claims that the extremity won't stop in malignancy of it being downtime. He states that the smell of death and blood will soon gulf the air. Meanwhile, a shadowy figure of an important beast can be seen in Yuji's timber. On the other hand, in the northwest homes, the special associations have eventually reached a delve, revealing this delve needed numerous offerings to reach. They're still happy that they have managed to discover the whole of spiritual monument. Suddenly, the colors hear an unsettling and unwelcome scowl. As they turn back to take a look around, they find the splinter centipede, a strong shifted monster. The centipede also proceeds to attack the colors as they all run around helplessly trying to defend themselves. On the wise side, Yuji, who has finished enhancing his branches, happy that he's about to reach rank He claims he only has to evolve 8 of his roots to achieve this. In addition, he states that when he does come rank, nothing except for perhaps nuclear munitions will be suitable to master him. Still, he also theorizes that after attaining the rank, humans will discover their actuality because of the oscillations caused by elaboration, as he authentically fears humans for the first time as a non-human Zeo King interprets his studies. Heil, claiming a huge problem has passed back at the Special Exploration Institution. Yang Ao learns that every single member of the Northwest team has been cancelled as the spiritual power blurted out of the monuments and attracted numerous shifted beasts to them, revealing that there were only a huge quantum of shifted mice and catcalls. At first they blaze on that a splinter centipede with a spiritual position of over has appeared there. Thus, in order to deal with such a redoubtable adversary, extraordinary forces are transferred out. Nevertheless, indeed, for them this fight is not going to be easy. Meanwhile, Yu-Gi-Oh learns that humans have lately discovered a spiritual or gravestone and a natural mind along with it. The spiritual gravestone is revealed to be a gravestone with a lot of energy G inside it, which can aid in upgrading body strength at high pets. Upon its discovery, all the institutes fell into disagreement over it, as King claims that this discovery will enable humans to keep up with the elaboration of the beasts. Yu-Gi-Oh is visibly enraged, claiming his plan to evolve further than any mortal might be suitable to have failed. He curses humans in their rigidity. Likewise, King also informs him of the appearance of the splinter centipede, a rank. He adds that the dogface stationed there for protection have all been massacred, along with about half of the extraordinary platoon. This statement leaves Yu-Gi-Oh complexed as he wonders how that centipede manages to reach a high rank while still being Loki. He inquires if the humans have stationed a platoon to fight back against this monster. Still leans that since the association set for commodity like this, they still have not. He also asks her if he might be suitable to beat it, but learns while the centipede has a position of 120,000, he has a position of only 16,000. Soon Ling returns after her report to H Institute Education. Formerly there, she asks to visit the Northwest in order to see the centipede, but her request gets refused. Meanwhile, Yu-Gi-Oh is still gathering up points to evolve. Upon hoarding the needed quantum, he enhances all his roots at formerly passing immense pain. Despite this, he continues, while on the other side Honey Badger is seen injured and bleeding. The Honey Badger is revealed to be out on a normal stalking trip. As he catches some food and prepares to eat, he runs into a group of poor and empty otters. He shares his prey with them despite making a god-awful face, and they snappily come musketeers as it decides to head back after finishing its mess and receives a nut as a commemorative of gratefulness. It suddenly gets attacked by a large beast. This dinosaur such-like monster makes Honey Badger lose his mind and in an attempt to get the first mega hit, and he rushes to attack the beast. Still, he gets fluently defeated and receives heavy damage. The Tempest Wolves ultimately find Honey Badger's injured and bleeding body. They decide to bring it to Yu-Gi-Oh, who claims that he is lucky to have managed to survive this battle, as the foe is important stronger than him. Nevertheless, Yu-Gi-Oh proceeds to feed the badger his tire and puts him in the lake of mending. On the other hand, he sends out the pack of Tempest Wolves and Red Fox to detect the beast, which injured his cherished pet, while making an intimidating expression, claiming that this monster has managed to keep retired despite the thick mist. It should not be a pushover, as similar he cannot let it continue living, then classifying this beast to be a major trouble. Suddenly King also chimes in and wants to fight this foe. Yu-Gi-Oh again is surprised to see her arrive so snappily. She tells him that she has set up Link's commodity, which might be suitable to suppress his presence. Nevertheless, she classes and it'll be delicate to recoup this Link. She tells her to take it easy, telling her not to rush. Suddenly an epiphany strikes him as he remembers commodity important. He remembers the underground swash filled with spiritual energy, which he preliminarily detected via his roots. He theorizes that this energy might be from a mind of spiritual gravestone, where they might be suitable to recover some Lingjae. This also makes him suppose that their current foe must also retain some as similar. He orders his faves to only detect this monster and not defy it, calming they will die if they choose to do so. Also, he dived the faves into 3 groups. Red Fox and the Wolves are assigned to check out the scene. Crane and the Falcons are ordered to check the sky, and King is assigned to find the monster underground near the mine, reminding them all to avoid battle. He orders them to leave and they all get to their tasks as finds the swash and continues upstream. She finds that the situation is just like Yu-Gi-Oh's vaticination. The swash is covered with spiritual monuments. Happy she managed to detect this so fluently. She also suddenly hears a roar. Expiring from this roar is an important energy commodity. QNNG claims to be at a position advanced than Yu-Gi-Oh. Upon farther disquisition, she finds that the monster in question is an Earthstone giant turtle. She claims that it's fortunate that they managed to find this monster, so before, as if it was given indeed further time, it would have further evolved into commodity unconceivable. Upon near examination of the surroundings, she finds a blood grasp, a companion of the spiritual gravestone and the most important treasure. In order to advance, feeling that these gerbs will prove to be relatively salutary for her master, she decides to take some back with her. Suddenly, just as she is picking the condiments, she gets attacked by the giant turtle. King is nonplussed and questions how on earth this beast can see her, claiming it might be because it has opponent and launches an attack. Still, the beast also responds in kind in his attacks. Shockwave notifies the rest of the faves. Meanwhile, Yujiu, thanks to his roots, has learned that King has encountered and maddened the beast. As he checks up on the Badger's condition, he finds him to be gone. Badger is revealed to have traveled all the way down in order to take his vengeance on the Bone, who tromped over him. As similar, he faces the giant turtle, and so Analik bad ensues. Honey Badgers constantly attack his opponent aimlessly, minding not for himself. Despite entering major damage, he continues to get back over. Kyone claims that it'll die at this rate, but Badger, no way wanting to be helpless ever again, still vows to master his foe. The end for now.